Today, we're diving deep into one of the most powerful personal finance books ever written, The Richest Man in Babylon by George S. Clason. Published almost 100 years ago, this classic uses ancient Babylonian parables to teach timeless lessons about building wealth that still work perfectly in 2026. If you've ever felt like no matter how much you earn, your purse stays lean, this book is for you. The core message: wealth is not about luck. It's about simple, consistent principles anyone can follow. In old Babylon, the wealthiest city of the ancient world, people learned to turn small earnings into massive fortunes. And today, we're going to uncover exactly how they did it. By the end of this video, you'll know the 7 cures for a lean purse, the 5 laws of gold, and practical ways to apply them right now. If you're ready to start building real wealth, hit that like button, subscribe if you're new, and let's journey back to ancient Babylon. Long ago in Babylon, there lived a man named Arkad. He started as a poor scribe, someone who copied records for a living, barely scraping by. But through wisdom and discipline, he became the richest man in the entire city. The king himself noticed that while Babylon was prosperous overall, too many citizens struggled with debt and empty purses. So the king summoned Arkad and asked, "How did you become so wealthy when others remained poor?" Arkad replied humbly, "I learned the rules of gold from a wise man, and I followed them faithfully." The king then asked Arkad to teach these secrets to a group of citizens so all of Babylon could prosper. That's where the real lessons begin. Arkad gathered 100 men and shared the 7 cures for a lean purse, the foundational steps to wealth. Cure number 1. Start thy purse to fattening. Arkad's very first rule is simple but powerful. Save at least 1/10 of everything you earn. Pay yourself first, before bills, before fun, before anything else. He said, "A part of all you earn is yours to keep." If you make $5,000 a month, put away at least $500 immediately. If you make $50,000 a year, save at least $5,000. No excuses. At first your purse will feel light, but soon that 10% starts to grow. Arkad taught, "As a stream flows steadily into a river, so will your savings grow steadily if you never fail to set aside this 10th. Cure number 2. Control thy expenditures. This one surprises people. Arkad said, "Budget thy expenses that thou mayest have coins to pay for thy necessities, to pay for thy enjoyments, and to gratify thy worthwhile desires without spending more than 9/10 of thy earnings." In other words, live on 90% or less of your income, no matter how much you make. People often confuse desires with necessities. A bigger house, newer phone, luxury items. These inflate as income rises. Arkad taught his students to write down every expense for a month and cut anything not essential. Thy purse will be fat if thou cuttest thy coat according to thy cloth. Today, this means tracking your spending. Distinguish needs from wants. A $7 daily coffee adds up to over $2,000 a year. That's serious savings potential. Cure number 3. Make thy gold multiply. Saving is great, but saving alone won't make you rich. You must put that money to work. Arkad explained, "Put each coin to laboring and earning, so that it may reproduce its kind even as do the flocks in the field." He invested his savings wisely, lending to safe borrowers or putting it into profitable ventures that returned interest or profit. Compound growth turns small savings into fortunes. In modern terms, invest in index funds, ETFs, dividend stocks, real estate, or other assets that generate returns. Even 7 to 10% average annual return compounds dramatically over decades. Example: save $500 a month at 8% return for 30 years. That's over $700,000, mostly from growth, not just contributions. Cure number 4. Guard thy treasures from loss. Arkad warned, "Guard thy treasure from loss by investing only where thy principal is safe, where it is assured a fair rental, and where it may be reclaimed if unusual conditions arise." Avoid get-rich-quick schemes, hot tips from friends, or anything promising huge returns with no risk. The first sound principle of investment is security for thy principal. He told a story of a man who lost everything chasing doubtful treasures. Stick to proven, boring investments. Diversify. Never risk money you can't afford to lose. Cure number 5. Make of thy dwelling a profitable investment. Own your home if possible. Arkad said, "Own thy home." A man's home is his castle, and paying rent is like pouring water into a leaky bucket. A paid-off home reduces expenses in retirement and builds equity. In Babylon, owning land or a house was a key wealth builder. Cure number 6. Ensure a future income plan for the day when you can no longer work. Arkad advised, "Provide in advance for the lean years that come to every man." In ancient times, this meant investments that paid ongoing income or family support. Today, build retirement accounts, 401k, IRA, get proper insurance, life, disability, and create passive income streams. Start early. Compound interest is your friend here too. Cure number 7. Increase thy ability to earn. The final cure: work harder on yourself. Arkad said, "The more wisdom we know, the more we may earn. Seek knowledge, improve skills, find better opportunities, start side hustles, ask for raises, or change careers if needed. Wealth flows to those who provide more value." In 2026, take courses, read books, network, build personal brand. A 10 to 20% income increase accelerates everything. Now let's cover some powerful stories from the book that bring these cures to life. First, the 5 laws of gold, taught through a father to his son. 1 pun. Gold cometh gladly and in increasing quantity to any man who will put by not less than 1/10 of his earnings to create an estate for his future and that of his family. 2. Gold laboureth diligently and contentedly for the wise owner who finds for it profitable employment, multiplying it like the flocks of the field. 3. Gold clingeth to the cautious owner who invests it under the advice of men wise in its handling. 4. Gold fleeth from the man who would force it to impossible earnings, or who followeth the alluring advice of tricksters. 5. Gold slips away from the man who invests it in businesses or purposes with which he is not familiar or which are not approved by those skilled in its keep. These laws reinforce cures 1 to 4 perfectly. Another favorite, the gold lender of Babylon. A man who lent wisely, charging fair interest, but never risking principal on poor bets. He turned down flashy opportunities and prospered. And the camel trader of Babylon, a story of overcoming debt through discipline. Work extra, live frugally, pay creditors steadily, and never borrow again for consumption. These parables show real people applying the rules, failing when they ignored them, succeeding when they followed. So how do we apply this in 2026? 1. Calculate 10% of your take-home pay and automate the transfer to savings, investments today. 2 Mash. Track spending for 30 days. Cut one big, unnecessary category. 3 Mat. Open or contribute more to a retirement account or low-cost index fund. 4 Pant. Review investments. Are they safe and diversified? 5. Learn one new money-related skill this year. Budgeting, investing basics, side hustle ideas. 6. Build an emergency fund of 3 to 6 months' expenses. 7. Increase income. Negotiate a raise, freelance, or start something small. These steps are simple but not easy. They require discipline. But, as Arkad proved, anyone can go from broke to wealthy by following them consistently. Babylon became rich because its people learned and lived these truths. You don't need ancient gold mines. You need ancient wisdom applied today. If this video helped you, drop a comment. Which cure will you start with first? Save 10%. Control spending. Invest. Share this with someone who needs a financial wake-up call. Hit subscribe and the bell so you never miss a video on building wealth the smart way. Thanks so much for watching. Go fatten that purse. See you in the next one.